Trump's budget cuts. What's at stake? Imagine waking up one morning to find that your favorite coffee shop has stopped offering free refills, cut down its menu, and replaced your favorite barista with a self-service machine. Frustrating, right? Well, that's kind of what happens when a government slashes budgets for social programs. Except, instead of coffee, it's healthcare, education, and food assistance that's being cut. Now, President Donald Trump has a long history of pushing for budget cuts, and his latest proposed budget takes aim at some key social programs. But how will these cuts affect everyday Americans? Will they really drain the swamp, or just drain support systems that millions rely on? Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll have a clear picture of what's at stake. But before we proceed, please hit that subscribe button for more eye-opening content. Trump has consistently advocated for reducing government spending on social programs, arguing that these programs create dependency and need reform. His latest proposed budget focuses on major cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, billions in funding reductions that could limit access to healthcare, food assistance programs, tighter restrictions on eligibility for low-income families, Social Security disability insurance, targeting benefits for people with disabilities, public housing and rental assistance, decreasing funds for affordable housing programs, education and student loans, reduced funding for Pell Grants and other student assistance programs. Now, let's break these down and see what they really mean for everyday people. One of the biggest concerns with Trump's budget plan is the impact on Medicaid and Medicare. These programs serve millions of seniors, low-income families, and people with disabilities. If Medicaid funding is cut, states might have to reduce coverage, leaving millions without insurance. Medicare cuts could mean higher premiums and fewer covered services for seniors. Hospitals in rural areas that rely on Medicaid funds could be forced to shut down, limiting access to care for those in remote areas. This means that if you or someone you love relies on government-funded healthcare, you could see higher costs and fewer benefits. Not exactly great news. Trump's budget proposal also targets SNAP, commonly known as food stamps, with stricter eligibility requirements. Families that rely on food assistance may face reductions in their monthly benefits, making it harder to put meals on the table. Changes in work requirements could disqualify thousands of struggling households, including people who are underemployed. Some school meal programs could see funding reductions, impacting children who rely on free or reduced-price lunches. Less food aid means more hunger, more struggling families, and increased reliance on food banks, which are already stretched thin. Cuts to Social Security disability insurance, often known as SSDI, are another major point of concern. This program helps people who can't work due to disabilities, yet Trump's budget seeks to reduce benefits and tighten eligibility. People with chronic illnesses or disabilities may find it harder to qualify for aid. Processing times for disability claims could get even longer, leaving many in financial limbo. Some people who rely on these funds to pay for medication and basic necessities may find themselves without options. For people already struggling, these cuts could be devastating. Public housing and rental assistance. A looming homelessness crisis. With rent prices skyrocketing across the country, affordable housing is more important than ever. However, Trump's budget proposes cuts to Section 8 housing vouchers, which help low-income families afford rent. Decreased funding for public housing maintenance, leading to worsened living conditions. Reductions in homeless assistance programs, making it harder for shelters to provide support. The result? More evictions, more homelessness, and greater financial instability for vulnerable families. Education and student loans. The cost of cutting support for students. For students hoping for financial aid, Trump's budget could bring tough news. Pell Grants, which help low-income students pay for college, could see funding reductions. Loan forgiveness programs may be eliminated, meaning more student debt. Public schools could receive less federal funding, forcing them to cut programs and resources. A college education is already expensive. These cuts would make it even harder for students to afford it. If you've ever used Medicaid, food assistance, or any other social program, let us know in the comments. How would budget cuts affect you or someone you know? If you're enjoying this so far, let me know in the comments. What do you think about this topic? And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you're always updated. Who benefits from these budget cuts? So, if millions of Americans stand to lose from these cuts, who actually benefits? The proposed savings from cutting social programs often fund tax cuts for corporations and the wealthy. Less government spending on social programs means more money for military and defense budgets. Those who support these cuts argue that they will reduce government debt, but at what cost? While deficit reduction is important, critics argue that hurting vulnerable populations to do it is not the answer. What happens next? If these cuts become reality, millions could face harder times, less healthcare, more hunger, and fewer opportunities. But remember, budgets are proposals, not final decisions. Congress ultimately decides what stays and what gets cut. That means your voice matters. If these issues concern you, consider contacting your representatives, supporting organizations that fight for social programs, spreading awareness, like sharing this video. What do you think? Are these budget cuts necessary, or do they go too far? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. The power of staying informed. If this video helped you understand what's at stake, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share it with someone who needs to know. Let's keep the conversation going, because informed people make powerful decisions. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. See you in the next video.